Okay, welcome back to another episode of the Shed Geek podcast. I always appreciate the whenever I can interview with somebody and feel comfortable in the environment, and I've noticed that's happened already. Joe, thank you for being flexible with your schedule.
Oh, my pleasure.
I appreciate that. It's good to see you again. Got to see you in Greenville at the Shed Show, and yeah, just couldn't wait to talk to you today. So I'll tell you what, introduce yourself if you would, so those of you who don't know you will.
Okay.
And a little bit about what you do.
All right. My name's Joe Neto. I'm the shed specialist for the Mid-Atlantic region to really help the dealers understand SmartSide, the products that we manufacture to build value in the buildings that they're selling.
Excellent. Yeah. Big fan, obviously, of what you guys do. Sold your product back whenever I was selling more regularly.
That's right.
Even had a mutual acquaintance, and I think I've mentioned him before when we talked with Rachel and Rick.
Andrew Woods.
Andrew Woods.
Yeah, he's a shed specialist out in your area. Yeah, great guy. Been with us for a few years.
Yeah.
Knows his stuff.
He's my buddy, man. He came in and he always answered our questions, and I love that. So for me, as a shed seller, it was really important for me to have product knowledge. Where do you feel like? So you said you do like this, the Sheducation,
Right.
Presentation and things like that. So where does that fall for you on the importance of, and how do you guys sort of navigate trying to put that process together for shed sellers?
All right. It's a great question. It's a loaded question.
Yeah.
So, yes, I do a Sheducation, but let me back up just a little bit. Okay. Andrew Woods is my counterpart. There's 8 of us around the country that do what Andrew does and what I do as well. And each and every one of us is versed in sheducating in person to a dealer to help build value.
Okay.
That's really what the Sheducation is about. Now, what LP has done is, because we were kind of doing this in person all over the place, we've kind of centralized it and are now doing a Sheducation webinar, a Zoom webinar that dealers can sign up for. We do it always live, the Tuesday and Thursday of the third week of every month.
So how do I sign up for this?
Sheducation.com.
Oh, you guys got Sheducation.com.
We do. We have Sheducation.com. We've copyrighted Sheducation.
Intelligent. That's great. I'm going to have to go buy schedule.com or some other shed related. I love shed puns. They're always funny. You know you're a shed geek whenever you enjoy something like Sheducation.
I think I've been a shed geek for a few years
now.
Right. So, absolutely.
Yeah, so you guys, you do these events. So if somebody wanted to, in seriousness, if somebody wanted to find out about the webinar or go to that, you would just
Sheducation.com, and the dates will be there. They can select the dates.
Okay.
We do it, like I said, twice a month. Tuesday, Thursday, the third week of every month. It's always live.
Okay.
And the purpose of the Sheducation is to build value. You know, a couple of years ago, you were doing this. You've been doing this for a while, so you were on pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
Where value was a thing.
Yeah.
Was important. And then a couple of years ago, the world went crazy.
Right.
And the shed industry went crazy, and people were. It wasn't so much about value as much as it was how quickly can you get me a building.
Yes.
Price point wasn't really a big deal.
You didn't even really have to sell. You just had to take orders.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I think we're getting back to what it used to be like.
Right.
Having a conversation, building value in the product. I visit a lot of dealers and with a lot of different dealers selling different builders' buildings, and honestly, price point difference between one building from one builder to another, apples to apples, is only a couple of $100.
Yeah.
Which is small. Now, I say that, but there are people that are just strictly price conscious, $6,400 versus $6,600.
Maybe your payment shoppers are going to be more, price conscious.
But if you can build a value in the product over your competitor, and that's knowing about the warranty, industry-leading warranty, simple little things that It's little things like that. Behind you, I don't know if the camera's going to be picking up. Bugs don't
we'll
bug it.
If not, we'll get a couple pictures of it and make sure to put it in the episode. But so I remember the bugs don't bug it posters. Right.
Andrew
would show up, and occasionally they'd do like some feather flags, and
we still do those.
Okay.
Storage buildings, and they'll say LP in the bottom corner out front. The purpose of the feather flags, somebody's driving down the road, is to catch their attention.
Sure.
They turn their head, they turn their car, they pull into the lot. Maybe we put a door banner on a one or two buildings that'll draw people to that building. Inside the building, you've got posters that say "Bugs don't bug it," not your grandfather's.
Yeah,
particle
I remember
board
not your grandfather's particle board.
Yeah.
Had like the little star cutouts and
warranty you can trust.
Right.
It's put out there to generate questions so that if a potential shed buyer walks onto the lot, they see a poster that says "The bugs don't bug it." We want them to have that conversation.
What's that mean? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how you sell a building.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know everything, but I haven't heard of anybody pulling into a shed lot, leaving $6,000 in a bucket, and leaving with the building like a roadside.
Well, we want your story if it's happened. I just want to be the one to tell it.
Are you looking for ways to grow your business? Hi there, I'm Chad P. Wilson with MBC and Foundation Bank, and we've been helping small businesses in the shed industry for 33 years. Now in that time, we've helped haulers buy new mules and trailers. We've made it possible for manufacturers and dealers to participate in their own rent-to-own, and have streamlined the manufacturing and sales process with our Insight software. Contact Chuck Robinson to learn more by visiting our website at foundationbank.org. MBC and Foundation Bank are a member FDIC.
Well, it really is the idea for me of product knowledge. I probably mentioned this when we talked to Rick and Rachel, but we had an early relationship with LP when AJ was still over marketing on the shed side, and he's moved on to even bigger things and
bigger and better things. Yeah. Although I don't know if it's better. I don't know if it's anything better than shed.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, he has moved on.
Well, I don't know. There's only being a Mets fan is about the only thing that he's got that I can knock him for. But no, great guy. We did a video for Summit Portable Buildings back, and it was 5 years ago or whatever, and AJ and the team kind of connected with us on that. So for me, it was always they've just always been phenomenal people. Rachel's been great. I would imagine she has entered into that space well, and she's always been so polite to me. And Rick I think Rick even bought a Shed Geek shirt. So kudos to Rick.
Did he? All right.
I can't say enough good about Rick right now. He threw me $10. So, but no, they were honestly great guys. We ended up actually having a collection of folks come down, shed builders come down and watch a hockey game, and they hosted us for that. Just really awesome people, awesome host, and their product it's available. I travel a lot of states, and you see LP in a lot of different locations. What's sort of now LP's a large brand, but a lot of people don't realize that there's this very focused center on sheds.
Yes.
It was a topic that was really a point of focus even whenever I was still in shed sales regularly. And I remember that being a focus that I could point out to the customer. I like to think I still have some of the knowledge, but kind of take me through that for
You're doing good.
Let's say was it 1 year and 10 and 5 year 50? I don't know. I'd have to test my knowledge here
You got it.
Yeah.
You nailed it. So it's 110 on the ProStruct flooring.
Okay.
And that's the only floor in the industry that's going to carry a warranty in a shed.
Okay.
In an uncoated building.
Okay.
There is no other product that any manufacturer makes that is going to hold a warranty in a shed.
And the ProStruct, same process.
It is.
As the smart siding.
It is, yeah.
And the trim. And
smart side, whether it's ProStruct flooring, ProStruct roofing, smart side panel, smart side lap, trim, smart side trim, expert finish is the same product, just painted. It's made the exact same way. I used an analogy with you earlier about, I'll share that with you.
Yeah.
It's like, again, so what I tell people, the process in which we make smart side products is like when I was younger, my mom, for Christmas would make Christmas cookies. And she had a family recipe that she would make the dough with, and then she would make all these different shapes. Christmas trees, stars, reindeer, a little angel, whatever it was. And then she would put sprinkles and some frosting on it to highlight whatever it was that she was making. But each and every cookie tasted exactly the same because it all came from the same recipe. Smart Side is the same way. The recipe that we use, the Smart Guard process, the aspen wood, the waxes, the MDI resin, and the zinc borate, the same for everything.
So I used to watch the YouTube videos to try and like gather more of what that looked like. But for the new shed builder maybe, or the shed seller looking to expand their product knowledge, what would you, like, how would you explain the Smart Guard process?
I would explain that during our Sheducation.
Oh, okay.
In great detail, with a video and a hands-on demonstration showing them little samples of the zinc borate, the MDI resin. We really want to.
This is why they need to sign up.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't cost anything to sign up.
Perfect.
You know, they block out an hour of their time. The presentation takes about 30, 40 minutes.
Okay.
And we do focus a lot on the warranty, and I'm going to kind of roll back to that.
Do that. I'm sorry. I have a tendency to go down rabbit holes.
I do the same thing.
So I just don't come back out of them, unfortunately.
No, we're good. So the warranty is something that LP focuses a lot on. The Smart Side panel and trim is going to have a 550, as you had mentioned. First 5 years, LP covers 100% labor and material. The next 45 years, it's prorated at 2.22% a year. ProStruct Flooring has a 110, year one, 100%. And that's something that we're very proud and passionate about.
Absolutely.
And that's value. That's value. And that's what we need to build to help make sales.
One thing I remember specifically about the ProStruct flooring, that I love the aesthetic look of it. It was one thing that customers would always ask questions about. What is this? What, like, they're that used overlay. To? Yeah, they're the overlay on that, the almost the stamped look or whatever it is. So it always generated an opportunity as a salesperson to have more conversation.
Point
because
that out.
Yeah, it naturally draws an inquisitive person's questions out.
Sure.
Because they're not used to seeing that.
And we break that down too. That nice smooth finish that you see on the floor, we use fines. 99% of the aspen tree, first of all, the product is made with all aspen wood.
Right.
99% of the tree is used in the manufacturing of Smart Side.
Wow.
That's a renewable resource.
Very neat. And so is there more products coming out? Can I, spoiler alert, Rachel's going to say, no.
Yeah.
We've got our marketing team on it.
I'll say this. Our research and development team is always working on innovative products specifically for the shed world. They work on things that'll cross over into residential as well. But I do know that somewhere on the drawing board in the future, there is some really exciting new shed-specific products that will cross over to residential, but I think the shed world is going to be really pleased with it. Yeah, there's definitely new stuff coming out. LP puts a lot of R&D, research and development, in the shed. They take it. It's a big part of our business. It's very, very important to us.
Well, I love that they carved out that niche specifically and sort of a hyper focus on it. They've marketed so well. I always love like their colors, whoever's taking care of that, Rachel, I guess.
We got Rachel. We had AJ. There's many others before and in between, but Rachel. This is all Rachel stuff too. I'm going to give a plug out to Rachel because this came out during her reign.
Yeah. So how did you find shed? So you just happened upon this? Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
By accident. In 2015, I applied for a position as a shed. I don't think we were a shed specialist at that time. They've changed our title a few times over the years, but this is probably the best description of what we do. And honestly, I didn't know that much about shed. I knew I had one, in my backyard. And
probably the same knowledge that most customers have whenever it comes to just a shed. There's not that much happening in the shed world, right?
That's what I thought, but I figured, well, it seems like a decent job. Seems like something I can do. I'm going to Sheducate, so I'm going to read up on some stuff and then just share that knowledge. And it is just snowballed from there. I absolutely love it. I have an absolute passion for it. The LP community, the the support, the product, smart side is I'm a believer.
So the Sheducation, is this something you do primarily?
I do most of them, yes,
Okay.
and I do them live, and the backdrop behind me is the backdrop that I would be use when I do the Sheducation, but it's usually from the desk over there that is kind of just lodged a little bit,
well,
but that's how I roll. I know where everything is, so
that's same thing. If you've seen me at home, it's the same process. So what is the goal through that? Do you feel like the Sheducation process?
So I think it's another avenue to help dealers sell buildings. So it's, in essence, to help builders sell buildings. I mean, it's no big secret. When we manufacture a product, we sell the product, we make money.
Sure.
A builder.
I sure hope so.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Right? It's America. A builder buys the product, builds a building, and then sells it through dealers or dealer network that they have in place or reached out to get so that they can make money. The more buildings a dealer makes, the more money a dealer gets. The more buildings that are sold, the more buildings a builder builds, the more money they make. The more product they buy from LP, the more money LP makes. It's America. It's
Everybody wins.
Everybody wins. So what LP does is they put the shed specialists out in the field to help the dealers sell buildings. There's a lot of building lots. There's a lot of building locations. So what's the difference between your building and your competitor's building? It's something that, to be successful as you were when you were in sales, is to know your competitor, know what you're selling, and there's a way for the manufacturer of the siding, the trim, and the flooring with a warranty that goes to them. We're the manufacturer's rep. We're a phone call away. Yeah. We share our cell phone number with every dealer that we touch. There are more and more dealers, and the territories are large. It's difficult for me to get to everybody within my market, as it's difficult for Andrew to get to everybody in his market. So the Sheducation is a way to get the information to the dealers and the builders to help them sell the buildings, providing them with the product knowledge, warranties. We can drop ship posters, warranty flyers, tear pads. They don't have to sit around and wait for Andrew to show up or for me to show up again.
Well, it's a full commitment to the users. And really, I mean, it's the last step to the end user. Sure. You're as close to what you possibly could be to the customer.
We also tell the dealers, I mean, if the customer has a question, you can share my number with that customer. They can reach right out to the manufacturer. We're a phone call away.
So for those who haven't seen you when you're out and about, you cover pretty good territory?
I cover what's called the Mid-Atlantic. So the state of Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, eastern and southern Georgia, and eastern Tennessee is my primary area to cover.
We told one of our previous interviews that we were coming to see you, and she was like, Sherry from Superior Sheds down in
South Carolina.
Yeah, down in South Carolina.
Williamston?
Williamston, yep, that's right. And she was like, oh, we love Joe. Joe's so great. Whenever he stops by here, he's always got a lot of information and brings by tear pads and things like that.
And her entire sales team has been on the Sheducation, and as they hire and expand and open up new dealer lots, one of the things that Sherry is kind of put up in front of them is that they're signing up for the Sheducation so that we can get them.
She's doing great things, man. Like we were really impressed, and we got to go to I don't know if you've ever been to the doghouse right down the road.
No, I haven't.
Well, go down there.
A little restaurant or something?
A restaurant.
Really?
Get you some.
She's been holding out on me.
Sweet potato casserole. Yeah, you got to tell her. We got to go to the doghouse. Sweet potato casserole. That's right. We know you, Sherry. We see you. But no, really great. And that's what's neat to me is to be out there and in real time see customers that are using your product, that are discussing it with me. You know what I mean? Asking, I'm like, oh, yeah, we go way back. Well, I mean, really, you guys have been doing this before I got into the shed space. I started in purchasing. So that my education, my Sheducation in the industry was really learning about product. That's where it started. So I spent a lot of time procuring. I spent a lot of time analyzing, and it kind of lent itself to sales. Whenever I became a salesperson, it made sense to be able to just have that product knowledge and understand the application of it and why certain things work and why they didn't. And LP always did a phenomenal job of explaining that if I didn't have the answer. I shout out to Andrew. Won't forget your name again. Sorry. But he was just great. He always answered the questions. And while I haven't got to attend any of the Sheducation events, I knew that Sheducation was a thing that you guys did. I just didn't know how it actually rolled out.
Yep,
So.
it's a real thing, and we still do it in person. You know, we go to the dealer lots, and the other piece with that is that it takes a little time to explain. And when we're showing up during the day at a dealer location, if potential sale walks in, that takes priority.
Sure.
You know, you've got to do and take care of that. That's what you're there for. So, you know, we get part of it, bits and pieces.
I appreciate your knowledge, man, for it. It's obvious to me that you really care about what you do. That
absolutely.
You take serious what you do. And the rest of the audience probably doesn't. Well, maybe they do, some of them, because maybe that's why they listen is, you know, we're shed geeks.
Yeah.
I mean, we really do spend some time. Our wives were probably, they were discussing how they've learned all about sheds because it's all you do. You talk about sheds, you discuss sheds, sort of maybe a weird infatuation, but I don't know. It's it's sort of the avenue that I have to talk to people. And it's so weird that I can be in North Carolina, in Mocksville, wherever we are.
Mocksville.
Yeah.
Baby County.
Yeah. And have somebody that has that same knowledge.
I'm very passionate about the shed world, the shed community. Smart Side is a product that I can get behind 100%.
Yeah.
LP is a great company. We make a good product. I don't get into pricing, but from what I hear, it's not always the cheapest product. But you get what you pay for.
If anybody is going to understand that comment, it's the shed industry.
Absolutely.
Who focuses on quality. I mean, You can't go to 99 out of 100 websites without seeing a description for quality. Maybe, perhaps the name of the company is driven around quality or named quality. And for that reason, that's something that they really try to drive home. So when you're trying to sell a quality product, everybody understands figuring out the price point on that matters.
But that's also the premise too. Everybody is focusing on quality or advertising quality, or the name of their company is quality whatever, or quality in the title. When a customer is interested in buying a building, it's what sets yours aside from the other. And is it just the word quality, or is it really the quality in the product and knowing about the product? That's the full value of what you're selling.
Hello, shed sellers. Did you catch the latest Real Work Labs interview with George Converse? If not, don't miss this value-packed episode. Head to Shed Geeks Podcast YouTube and search Real Work Labs. George and the Real Work Labs crew are riding the wave of Google's latest updates, taking your digital presence to the next level. We're tech artisans crafting your neighborhood brand voice for shed sellers like you to stand out, gain trust, and get found online. Our software will easily capture your work snapshots, videos, weave your craft's story, and get reviews all in one virtual experience. Our innovation goes beyond getting found for your business location, rather getting found for your work locations. Reviews intertwine with their corresponding job sites. When potential customers seek local expertise, you're the proven solution they'll find. It's high time to map your reviews and showcase your beautiful work in a meaningful way that builds trust in customers' neighborhoods. Ready for the journey? Visit shedgeek.realworklabs.com or call George today at 480-787-7575. Real Work Labs, elevating your trust, increasing your conversions, and getting you found where you work in the neighborhoods you serve, one shed at a time. Yeah. How do you, what's your advice to the shed seller on, I think product knowledge is very important. I think some people focus on product knowledge to the point to where it bores the customer. I've done that before. I'm such a believer of the product. I'm trying to sell the product and not the vision or the dream of why they want the space. I need a place to put a mower. Wait a minute. Let me tell you about this warranty. And, that guy might be marginally interested in warranty. So I'm not dreaming with him.
That's a great question. I'm focused on the product. I mean, that's me. I'm the product guy. But my word of advice to anybody that's selling is that know just not our product, but the other products. Know how your buildings are constructed. 2x4 floor joists versus 2x6 floor joists. Is it 3/4 inch flooring, whatever the flooring is, preferably pro struck. 16 on center, 24 on center type of shingles. Is it metal? Know your building. Hurricane straps, not hurricane straps. Does the building have to be locked down, or what would they call that? I'm drawing a blank there when they strap it down.
Oh, yeah. So like,
ground spikes or whatever.
Yeah.
So know
Anchors,
as much about anchors. Yeah.
Between the both of us, we got there somehow.
It was a long road. Definitely needed an anchor there.
They say there's 4 conversations that's happening every time 2 people are talking.
Yeah.
It's what we're saying and what's happening in our mind.
Exactly.
And I don't know about you, but I've had to spend a lot of time up there trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together. I always try to ask good questions. I always want to make sure to ask things that highlight the topic of the product or the guest or whatever. Maybe it's the story that kind of got them into the industry that's more captivating. I was really thinking about like your Sheducation process. Do you kind of temper that to the manufacturer in some ways for application purposes, or do you really feel like there's I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, I would imagine the shed builders are going to be the ones who are going to be the most familiar with your product.
Sure. I think I understand where you're going. If there's a builder who's not using 1 or 2 of the products, just panel, we'll still Sheducate them. I mean, they'll take from that, but we can also do a Sheducation for a specific builder. I share that with all the builders in my market. Okay. If a particular builder has 12 dealer locations, we can set up either in person or a Zoom meeting with just their 12 dealers. Yeah. And then they can get very question specific.
Sheds have come a long way. In probably the 70s or 80s, and some of the products that people were putting out there on sheds. I think LP kind of speaks to that crowd that whenever we start talking about what a shed is nowadays, it's not just an outbuilding anymore. You are seeing, studios, music studios, yoga studios, like offices. But really even reaching the tiny home market, which is kind of it's just a whole story in itself. It's a whole 10 podcasts, but
that's for sure.
It really is hitting that market, and you're seeing those products on that. For the shed manufacturers that are doing tiny homes on chassis or things like that, warranty change? Is that different?
The warranty doesn't change.
What a lot of people don't see is oftentimes we do a podcast before a podcast. I wish I could capture the magic of the conversation that we have before we think to stop and put a microphone in front of everything that we're saying. Yeah. But what I appreciate about you and so many others, but this conversation here today is this is you off air. This is the discussion we had were these boring details that us shed geeks like to
eat,
figure
sleep,
out.
And drink shed and smart side. This is a passion. This isn't just a job for me. This is a passion. My wife's here in the room. She's smirking over there because she knows that this is a passion.
You spend a lot of time trying to focus on career and what makes sense and what you can support and back up. I've always been a fan of smart siding and all that LP does. They've been a great proponent and friend of the podcast.
Anybody wants to talk to me, they can register on sheducation.com.
What is it again?
Sheducation.com.
Okay.
It's always live. So the way we set it up as a webinar, I can't see them, and I can't hear them, and they won't see or hear each other, but they can type questions live into the chat box, and I answer those questions live right there. So,
I got to talk to Rick and Rachel, or maybe you're the guy to answer this question, but I've been talking about doing some different fun things with the podcast, which might include like some panel interviews where you could get multiple manufacturers on to ask questions or something like that, to a product specialist or an RTO specialist or something like that, where just create something new, fun, more exciting, getting some haulers involved in some hauler conversations, some sellers involved in some seller conversations. Can't talk. And some manufacturers involved in those conversations, but I think it'd be really cool to have like product specialists and service specialists there to kind of answer that question. So I have to talk to them and say, hey, wouldn't it be cool to have like maybe even competing products on there that play nice, you know?
We try to play nice with everybody.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's when it's all said and done, I really think competition's overrated. I've said this joke on here before, but my favorite joke is going to a shed seller's location, and I said, oh, I see you got new competition across the street. And he said, anytime somebody moves in here and hangs up a sign that says, shop here for your shed, we have the lowest prices. He said, I just hang a sign above my door that says main entry.
Yeah.
So, you know, I love what people talk about when they discuss competition. They say you don't go to a restaurant in the middle of nowhere. You go where, you know, there's a bunch of other restaurants and you can choose from. You get more educated on where you want to eat, what's good,
Absolutely.
what's available. Competition in this industry, I think, is overrated because the shed market's booming. It's doing great. You can't service everybody anyway. So my thoughts on it are, why can't we come together and just make a bigger piece of the pie? Instead of taking a bigger piece, let's just make a bigger pie altogether. Because
exactly.
It seems like what you said earlier is exactly right. You know, outside of your home and your car, probably sitting on your property, your shed's one of your larger purchases.
Sure.
So, I mean, thinking about what products you want to go on that and having that information. So I would love for some folks to be able to get together. In a sense, that's what things like trade shows like the Shed Expo is. A bunch of people able to come together and have conversations. So
we all get along fine there.
Yeah,
There's no, unless
absolutely.
they're putting a wrestling ring in Knoxville, I'm not sure.
Oh, man. What an idealist.
Right?
All right, I want to go against somebody. I don't know. We'll
We don't want to go against anybody.
Be a Royal Rumble. We'll get everybody in. Honestly, it does feel like a bit of a family reunion. In some ways, you get to see people that you talk to all the time, and
Absolutely.
I have actually come to appreciate even those that I've competed with in the past, with to be able to go out and get dinner with them, and just phenomenal people in this
You
industry.
were in the Greenville show in
I was.
February, I think.
Yeah.
You went to the dinner afterwards.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean,
That's right.
we had 4 or 5 different builders
That's right.
all
There's
competing, all
probably-
sitting down breaking
that's
bread
right.
together.
Yeah. Maybe I'm going
Sharing.
to say there was 20, 30 people sitting down at that
Oh,
table.
Yeah.
And anything from 3D configurators, maybe even competing manufacturers.
There were competing shed builders there.
Right.
At that dinner, and they all got along
Yeah.
just fine. Everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all in this together.
Yeah, that's
us,
right.
None of us are getting off this rock alive.
Yeah.
So we
That's right.
might as well just play nice and learn.
I feel like I learn more from being able to sit down and open my mind up with somebody who does something different as opposed to trying to limit that. With that being said, I'm still willing to get in the ring with somebody.
I'm gonna ref.
I don't know who. I'll probably surrender right away, so it wouldn't really matter.
So I'll be honest with you. I'll be on the outside. I'll be the heckler.
Will you cheer me on?
I will heckle. Oh, absolutely. For one, until you start losing, and then I'm heckling. Yeah.
Andrew would message me and he'd say, "Hey man, I'm in Paducah. Come on over. Let's go get something to eat." And he'd usually have a feather flag or something, you know, or some tear pads. Hey, you getting low on tear pads? You get on. I really appreciated him. I could tell that he was overwhelmed the first time he came in because I was over the top. I was like, "Oh, thank goodness, there's somebody here to tell us and tell us about their product." And so I immediately demanded that everybody should have the same commitment to the industry as LP, and no one did.
No,
know?
he's very passionate, but you caught Andrew at the very beginning of his career.
I did,
believe me,
yeah.
I was stumbling and fumbling when I first started.
Well, it was quite pleasant because even though he was like, "Oh no, this guy's really knows his stuff or really wants to know," I promise you, as I said here, that man went back and answered every one of my questions, called me up and answered every single one of them, did not let anything go untouched. So I always kind of felt like I knew who LP was.
Right from the beginning. I
right
tell
from the
people
beginning.
all the time, call me with a question. If I don't know the answer, I'll make something up.
Joe, what's your message? Well, go ahead. Go.
Yeah, that got right by you, right?
Oh, what'd you say? I'm sorry, I missed it. I was thinking.
I said, if I don't know the answer, I'll make something up.
Oh.
And the truth is, I will find the answer.
Story of my life. What is your message to the shed industry? See, that's where it was. I was bringing us down, and I was getting all serious before we got off of here. But what's your message to the shed industry in 7-8 years in this? You're obviously with a nice company that provides a nice product, but what sort of, maybe I'm asking you too many questions here, but what surprised you? What's some of your greater moments of it? What's sort of your message to them? What do you take away after 7 years in this?
That's a great question. My takeaway, I'm amazed at how strong Shed is, and it's built that through value, and not just value in our product. I mean, I'm going to spin it a little bit and just talk about Shed in general. The builders who are successful and are continuing on and growing and getting stronger in an up market, in a down market, are the true builders who build value. Know your product, know the value, know its worth, understand it. For a dealer, I'm just seeing them grow. When I started, I was given an account list with 29 accounts that I was told to visit, and I looked at that overwhelmed, like, wow, that's a lot of traveling, it's a lot of visiting.
Dropping the bucket, right?
Right now in the Mid-Atlantic region, and I don't have everybody on paper. This is why this is great for LP. We want to help as many, but right now I have 589. That's a big jump, which is another reason why.
I'm gonna need to get that list from you.
Those are dealers that I've been in touch with that have provided the value. They're using or selling buildings made with our product. So,
well, you have a fan down there in Greenville, and Sherry said good things about you. Superior. I suspect if I ask around, we're going to find more. Appreciate what you guys do. Appreciate your commitment to the industry, your willingness to continue to come on, and I'm sure we'd like to have you and other representatives. Who knows? Maybe we can get multiple
a big panel
shed specialists.
Yeah, the shed specialist panel.
Yeah, they can
do a live call-in show.
And that's for shed stuff, not a Royal Rumble wrestling match, guys.
That's good.
We can arrange that. That'd be great. But I would love to do that, and the commitment that I want to have from here to the industry is to continue to promote products and knowledge. Really, the tagline that came out early was education through entertainment. You know, like we love to laugh and joke and cut up, but I'm so blessed by people messaging me saying, hey, I really appreciate that podcast, learned a lot from it, or they were starting on early, and I say, hey, man, it's all about the experience that others have had that they're willing to come on and share, or their shed stories and kind of the shed history and watching how things have progressed over time. And it might be a geeky thing to be into, but you know what? Everybody's got something.
Absolutely.
And Sheds has literally, I mean this with the most seriousness that I know how to muster between me and you, because we have a good time laughing and joking and cutting up. I mean this with the most seriousness I can present. It has changed my life to be in this industry. My wife and I travel together. We've met some of the most dear friends that we're going to have for the rest of our life, I think, through this industry. So I don't take it lightly when I say it really has changed my life. And when I was looking for validation in career, Sheds kind of became that. And LP is just another one of those names that I remember right from the beginning.
It's a close-knit industry. It's a very family-oriented industry. And everybody seems to, competition, we talked about that word and phrase earlier. Everybody's playing, we're all swimming in the same pool.
That's right.
We all seem to be getting along. It's I do want to mention that I know that you will get feedback, good or bad or whatever, on the podcast.
We hope good.
I'm hoping that too. I'd like to do another year at least with the company. At least. If somebody should reach out to you and is looking for more information, I hope it's okay that with you. You can share my contact information.
I'll connect them in any way if they want to?
Yeah,
they want to contact
they can
me.
reach out to me,
absolutely.
no matter where they are. I mean, we got Michael in Texas, we got Tom in Alabama, we got Andrew in Paducah.
Yeah,
The parts there. We got Tatum, Matt Sagers, Matt Martins. I have to use their last names because they're both Matt. So I mean, there's 8 of us around. But if they reach out to me, I'll put them with the right individual that will be able to help them and assist them.
Well, any way that I can, I obviously help. I mean, me and you kind of connected through Chris,
Right?
So, it's so funny. Colonial Forest and Chris Knock, that he's been great, and me and him have been talking about doing a show for quite some time, and finally got out to North Carolina, and that guy's running like crazy.
Yeah, he's everywhere.
Chris
is a good guy.
He's great.
I've known Chris a long time.
Yeah. There again, connection, meeting him at a show, and just sort of trying to stay connected through that. There's so many people in this industry still yet to meet. I want to meet them all. I want to talk to them all. Love to tell their shed story. I appreciate just what you guys do and what LP stands for in the shed industry. So thank you from the Shed Geek podcast as well. But if they want to listen to Joe Neto even farther, they can go where?
Sheducation.com and register.
We're going to have
Tuesday, Thursday, third week of every month, always live.
Joe, appreciate you having a flexible schedule, letting me be here today just to talk about the things that we're passionate about. And for the 1,000 listeners that do tune in, I'm sure you know about LP. So contact Joe if you want to know more, and go to sheducation.com.
I appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity. This is great.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.